News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Chris Crock Show. Okay, this is getting really, real now. As far as Israel and the war, and Joe Biden did something that he's never done before. And as far as we are all aware, this has never happened before in the history of America and its great relationship with Israel. It would appear that for the first time ever, arms, ammunition that our Congress had approved and voted through and approved to send ammunition and aid to Israel to help prosecute their war against Hamas, the terrorists who attacked Israel for no reason. There was a ceasefire. Hamas didn't want a ceasefire. It chose to slaughter in the most wickedest ways, 1,200 Israelis and kidnap a couple, like 320 of them or something of that nature, including 5 American citizens, horrifically rape and brutalize them, murder them at these festivals, gang rape them, cut their breasts off during rape, shoot them in the head in the middle of rape. All sorts of vile, sickening genital mutilation after gang rape. Just the most sickening, wicked, and evil, satanic, really, behavior I've ever seen from this satanic cult called Hamas, this death cult. And Joe Biden says, you know what? The polling's not going well. A lot of young people are mad that I don't back terrorists, Hamas, and this could cost me the state of Michigan. The Muslim vote alone in Michigan, which is the biggest Muslim population, I believe, in the United States of America, Dearborn, Michigan, and surrounding areas, 150,000 Muslims that are Joe Biden voters, and they're so mad at what's going on. So Joe literally did something that is unbelievable. He sold Israel out 100%. He said, as of last week, there was a shipments that were going over that were already approved by Congress, and he stopped them. Axios reported this exclusively today, that Joe Biden last week put a hold on ammunitions that our Congress voted and said to send it to him. He held it. He's holding it. And when asked about this, he says no comment. There's no comment. When you also have Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State, that went out there last week and gave him a stern talking to Israel behind the scenes. And I can tell you this. It obviously was saying, don't go into Rafah. And if you do, you have to go in the way we tell you to do. And so a few days later, on International Holocaust Remembrance Day, to show you how alone and abandoned Israel is once again, the Jews abandoned, left to die from our own country. Joe Biden turning his back on the Jews of Israel and their homeland that was made so they would never again be slaughtered. On Holocaust Remembrance Day, Sunday, yesterday, Bibi Netanyahu said this: in the terrible Holocaust, there were great world leaders who stood by idly. Therefore, the first lesson of the Holocaust is, if we do not defend ourselves, nobody will defend us. And if we need to stand alone, we will stand alone. And so what the message was to his people that put him in office to lead them, we're alone. And we're going to kill the terrorists and save the hostages. And you need to know that the United States of America has turned its back on us now. And we're alone. And so this is where, basically, without saying it overtly to us, he says, we're alone, pray for us, because we're going to fight this all on our own now, against even the administration, your administration in America that you elected. And that's what's happened. And I want to know, and leaflets have dropped in Rafah, the last city, the last 1.5 million stronghold. That's where the rest of the Hamas leadership is, in the tunnels underground. And that's where the last 4 brigades are of Hamas that are remaining. That's it. Hamas just announced they want to do a ceasefire today. Oh, we like the deal now. Because they're going to get wiped off the map. Not Israel, they are. But Joe Biden, if he has his way, it'll be stopped. I want to ask you right now, do you want us to cut off arms to Israel as Joe Biden has decided to do? Do you want us to cut off arms to Israel, and do you want them to stand alone? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Do you want us doing what Joe Biden has done, according to two top Israeli officials that have confirmed it with Axios in this exclusive publication? Do you want us to cut off the arms to Israel that Joe Biden apparently has done? Do you want us to do that? Is it time we cut them off? And do you want Israel to stand alone? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Well, this is it. This is when it's the toughest. This is when you either finish the job or you don't. And you finish the job that if you do, you know that no one's behind you anymore, for the most part, really. And I was stunned to see this. I was stunned, I was saddened, and I was angered. Because the Jews should never stand alone ever again. I thought surely we would never do this to them. I thought we would never do this to them. And supposedly Joe Biden is the best friend Israel ever had. But he's not. Because when Joe Biden's position is threatened, he sells out his best friend. The Jews stand alone right now. And I want to know if you're okay with that. And if you were the 9.8 million Jews, if you could answer for them, what would you say tonight? Yes, I'm going to finish the job. I'm going to kill the people that tried to kill us and did all this to us and want to wipe us off. We're going to kill them. We're going to finish them off. And yes, I'm going to do it alone. Or what? Are you okay with this? That's what our president's chosen to do, to abandon Israel and leave it to die. Or to come back as an abused stepchild, if you will, some abused little child, and suckle on Joe Biden's weak little anemic teat. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. This is, as the media has said, the first time ever that U.S. has halted ammo to Israel since the terror attack on October 7th. And I want to remind you of something else. The only reason why we're in this predicament, that Israel's in this predicament, is because Joe Biden said, you're going too fast, slow down, go slow. You're not allowed to do much of any extra killing on accident. So go slow down. He's the reason why this has taken 7-8 months. Joe Biden is. He made them go slow. And now that he's made them go slow, he won't let them finish the job. He's like, well, you should have finished the job. And they're like, well, you didn't let us go fast. And that's what Trump said. You get in there, you finish it, and you do it quick, and you get out. This could have been wrapped up in 3 to 4 months if they were taking the dang leash off of these people. Take the leash off of them and let them do their job, which they've done better than any American military has done in warfare, period. We have never had the numbers they've had of accuracy. We have never had the lowest casualty rates that they have. The casualty rate is one for every terrorist killed. There's 1.5 civilians killed. 1 to 1.5 ratio. Do you know what the UN says in urban warfare like this? They say it's 1 to 9. 1 military killed for every 9 civilian killed. That's the average. Israel's doing 1 to 1.15. It's never been done before. Tom in Texas. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hi, Tom.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Is that it, Tom? You just called to say hi?
No. I called to say Biden totally is screwing up. I mean, he is. This is stupid. I mean, they have been our ally for forever, and you just don't abandon somebody like that. And
he did. He did. He's being asked repeatedly by everybody in the press, through every spokesperson, everything, and they're not saying anything. They will not say anything. And let me tell you one more.
I know.
Let me tell you one more thing. John Kirby said one day after the president they were told don't do it. John Kirby said publicly that Biden is sincere when he talked about the possibility of changes to the U.S. policy regarding the Gaza war should they move ahead with some sort of ground operation in Rafah that doesn't take into account the refugees. So he has said he's going to change his policies openly. He is going to change his policies if you don't get back on this leash and now let me beat you and make you weak. And so he's done it. The policy has changed. Yeah. We don't know what this is going to mean from this point forward, but it's changed.
Yeah, and it's not right. And that's what I wanted to say and voice my opinion. And hopefully one person can help.
Well, do you think that, do you agree with me that the Jews are standing alone once again, like in World War II?
Yes, totally. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's history. I mean, they stood alone back then, and now they're doing it. They're having to do it again, for crying out loud. And it's not right.
And this is not the beginning. This is the beginning of bad stuff. They're getting cut off now. So this is bad. I appreciate your call, Tom. We've got 4 lines open. We're going to talk to Laura in Burleson next. The question I'm asking you is, do you want us to cut off arms to Israel, which Joe Biden has done? And do you want them to stand alone? Do you want the Jews to stand alone again? That's what's happening right now. That statement that Bibi Netanyahu made a couple days ago is so powerful and so sad, and it's so true. Coming up next, I have a phone call, because the IDF is dropping leaflets once again, and they're calling and texting everybody that they know of and have in their database and everything. They're calling civilians and saying, get out of Rafah now. Get out of the east side. Get out. Death is coming. There's a conversation between an IDF officer and one of the Gaza residents, and what you're going to hear is going to stun you about what they say about themselves, the Gazans, and the children. That's coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP.
حتكون كبيرة جدا في خطر كمان عليك لازم تطلع من البيت انت والأسرة.
You need to evacuate. Move a half of a kilometer.
تمام.
All right. How many do you have?
كثير. لازم يطلعوا كلهم. عكم كثير.
All of them must evacuate. Each family has around 20 people.
عكم عائلة. 3 عائلات. تمام.
Inform everybody. We'll wait until everyone evacuates. The call goes on and on and on. You don't have much time left. In this conversation, this is on my Twitter feed. You can watch it yourself, listen to it, and retweet it. The IDF officer says you need to evacuate for your own safety. The Gazan says, quote, we want to die. This is a civilian. That's a civilian. And then he says, you need to leave, the officer says. The blast radius will be immense. It'll affect you. The Gazan says, we aren't leaving, kill the children. He says, you should do everything you can. We must do everything you can to save the kids. You're responsible for ensuring the safety of the kids. And here we go. And our children also must die. So this is what you're dealing with. This is Gaza. This is who Joe Biden wants to bring into our country, 100,000 of them. And they're like, kill us, kill the children. We don't care. We'll go to heaven with the virgins and everything. You know how they think, the radical Islamists. So there you go. That's who they're dealing with. That's who Joe Biden. This is whose side Joe Biden is on. Joe Biden cut off the people that are rescuing people in Gaza from terrorists, Hamas. It's not free Palestine from Hamas, from Israel. It's free Palestine, free Palestine from Hamas. So they'll kill themselves, they'll kill their children to make Israel look bad, and Joe Biden's on the terrorist side. Joe Biden has cut off the good side. You hear this? Tonight. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number. Do you want us to cut off arms to Israel? And do you want them to stand alone, the Israelis? Joe Biden has cut off the arms, the ammunition that our Congress voted through. He has cut them off. Last week, cut off. Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi Netanyahu, gave a speech over the weekend yesterday in Holocaust Remembrance Day saying that we, here, in the terrible Holocaust, there were great world leaders who stood by idly. Therefore, the first lesson of the Holocaust is if we do not defend ourselves, nobody will defend us. And if we need to stand alone, we will stand alone. And that's what Joe's done. I am utterly saddened and disgusted by this president. He's abandoned them, and he's on the side of the terrorists. Let's go to Laura in Burleson. Laura, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hi, Laura.
Hello. I just want to say Joe Biden sickens me. And I saw Netanyahu in his speech and saying that they were going to stand alone, and it just made me cry. I mean, that was just the saddest thing I've ever heard. And, you know, in Revelation, it says in the end times, all nations will turn against Israel. So here we go. I never thought I'd see the day when the United States would turn against Israel, really. But here we are. And, you know, the Jews have been God's chosen people. They're always going to be God's chosen people. And they're not really alone because they got God on their side. And so, you know, it makes me sick to be an American right now, to be a part of not giving them what they need. You know, I stand with Israel. Totally.
Who stood with the Jews in the line to get into the gas chamber? Who stood with them? Who stood with the Jews as they were going to be lined up to be shot and killed and thrown into a mass grave?
There was no one there.
There was no one there. You're right. Now, God is with them, and you're right. But other than God, and he's all you need, but I'm just saying, nobody stood with the Jews as they were in line to be slaughtered. And nobody is standing with them today. And I think the way you described your feelings and your thoughts that when you saw this is, I love it, because that's exactly how I feel. I cannot believe our country has turned its back on our greatest ally. I cannot believe this. And this is what happens when good stands down and doesn't stand up for what's right, and the good that are there are left alone. And I am just so disgusted by this. And I hope to God that Bibi Netanyahu will crush these sons of bees and just destroy them. And I pray that he will do it with prejudice, and that he will go to great lengths to slaughter every one of them. And I pray that he will be able, because here's the thing too, you got to understand, these hostages, they're not letting any of them free. And so I really do think he said, this is done. We're done. I mean, we got 4 brigades left. We got the last 2. They killed one of the top 3 Hamas leaders that live there in Gaza. One now is there permanently in the dirt. And then they're going to go after the billionaire ones that are in Qatar in 5-star luxury. They're going to kill them, and they need to, and I want them to. They killed one of their sons already that was active in this stuff. He was in the country, though, Now, but I just never thought I would see this day, and I just pray that because they got to just do everything now. Just freaking give them a full colonoscopy, remove all of their intestines and entrails, and what does that call when you lay them out so you can see them while they're alive? You know, yeah. They need to do that to them, and then cut the entrails off and let them watch themselves die. This is what is going to happen to these guys, and I pray to God it happens, and it happens fast. I am disgusted. Yeah. It's as if Joe Biden would literally go over there and help kill the Jews.
It's ridiculous. I mean, Biden has no spine whatsoever. And then he won't answer questions. You know.
Yeah, he won't even confirm that he cut him off. He just cut him off. Yeah.
Yeah. Netanyahu, he's such a good man, and I really love that man. I mean, he's been so steadfast and strong, and he's got a job to do, and by God, he's going to do it, with or without anybody.
Amen. Thanks, Laura. Appreciate your great call out of Burleson. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. When you look at how this went down, Antony Blinken told Netanyahu during their meeting last week that a major military operation in Rafah would lead to the U.S. publicly opposing it and would negatively impact the U.S.-Israeli relations. A day later, the White House spokesperson John Kirby said Biden's sincere when he talked about the possibility of changes to U.S. policy regarding the Gaza war should they move ahead with some sort of ground operation in Rafah that doesn't take into account the refugees. And then the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, on Saturday, 2 days ago, said, we made it clear to Israel that the way it conducts itself in an operation in Rafah will influence the United States policy towards Gaza. Here it is. They've cut them off. And yet Congress said, here you go. Kill them all. Kill every one of them. Here's the ammo to do it. And Joe won't send it now. He'll send pallets of cash. He'll send $80 billion, $100 billion to Iran, let them pump oil, 3% of the world's oil now, so they can make more money to kill more Jews, which is what they use it for. Coming up next, you're not going to believe this. These people that are screaming for terrorists and supporting them at our campuses, who is funding this? We're finding out now. And guess what? They're Biden fans. All that's next on the Chris Crock Show. Plus your call at 800-288-WBAP. Do you want us to cut off arms to Israel? And do you want them to stand alone, as Joe Biden has seemingly done over the weekend into today? News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make that a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. In just a moment, the Trump trial today, getting real, getting heated, and getting closer to jail. That's what the judge said. So we'll get to that in a minute. This has been a heck of a day. And it still is a heck of a day. There's riots going on in Manhattan. By the way, Israel is conducting strikes in Rafah right now. In Gaza, as the idiots say. We are starving. I'm seeing a lot of these idiots now having hunger strikes, many of whom are very overweight, and it's kind of actually funny. It's like, oh my gosh, Big Mama going to starve now. You got to see some of these people on my Twitter feed, at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, CHRISKROK. And I love you got the idiots from the suburbs with kafayas on going, Gaza. They don't say Gaza, they say Gaza, like they live there. Yo, bro, I'm from Gaza. No, you're not. You're a white boy. You're a soy boy from the suburbs. Pro-Palestinian protesters, in other words, pro-Hamas protesters. This is in the Politico, a leftist outlet. Pro-Palestinian protesters are backed by a surprising source. Joe Biden's biggest donors. This is why he ain't saying nothing. Because those are Biden voters that are rioting and burning down and yelling at cops, calling them pigs. Just moments ago, it's on my Twitter feed. Ladies dressed up that appear to be Muslim yelling at the cops saying you're pigs. It's just sick. If you're here on a student visa, they need to deport you. If you're participating in pro-Hamas, anti-cop stuff, get out of here. Some of the most outspoken groups against Biden, the Politico said today, have an exclusive here, that they get funding from Joe Biden's biggest donors. Who are they? George Soros is one of the biggest donors to these Jew-hating, pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist rallies where they're threatening Jews and saying vile things and doing anti-Semitism and open such, and calling to divest and everything and terrorizing Jewish students. The Pritzker family from Hyatt Hotel, Nick Pritzker and his wife Susan, are donating. The Soros family, David Rockefeller Jr. These are all massive Biden voters, and they're supporting the terrorists that love Hamas and that hate Jews. They're funding it, and they're funding Biden. Do you see why Biden's quiet? He can't attack his biggest donors. Yeah, and when your biggest donors hate the Jews, you're really not going to stand up for the Jews. Because remember what Joe Biden has done to Israel. We've been talking about for 40 minutes. Joe Biden has abandoned Israel for the first time ever and is now going to be changing his policy based on what he says. He's going to change his policy towards Israel. He has stopped the ammunition that Congress already voted and passed to send to them. He stopped it last week. And when asked about this, he won't say anything. All of his top spokespeople over the past several nights have separately, individually said the same thing. This is it. You do this, you go into Rafah and do it the right way and kill these terrorists, then we're going to do something. We're going to change our policy. And they've done it. And they've cut them off. But they're too cowardice to admit it. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let's go to Daniel in Richardson. Daniel, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hello, Daniel.
Hey, Chris. Good to talk to you.
Thank
hey, man,
you.
what I find ironic about all this is that, and I saw it on the TV the other night, they were showing scenes from Columbia University. There was a sign there that said "Queers for Gaza," and what I find really just tremendously ironic is that if they even spent a second over there, they would be gone. They would be dead, beheaded, killed, whatever, like in so fast. They just don't even understand what they're supporting. They have no clue. It's even I don't know what the word is, but it's almost like suicide for them. Like if they were over there doing that,
that's exactly right. They have a death wish. They're going to die.
Yeah, that's a death wish. It absolutely is. They don't even understand what they're supporting.
That's correct, but they know they want it, and they've never wanted anything this badly. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, just ridiculous. Hey, they want to support it. Let's let them go.
Yeah, we need to send them. You saw the Iranian governor who said we got scholarships at our university here. Come if you've been expelled, we'll take you. And I mean, they need to go. I really would encourage them to go. Go ahead.
We should send them I think we should send them the freedom fighters they want to be.
Yes, I think they should go and be freedom fighters. I think that would be very, very, very good. I have some audio. Thank you for your call, Daniel. I have some audio that's really going to buttress what he's talking about here. I should be able to pull up here on the fly. Here we go. This is it. It is, you know who Taylor Lorenz is? And obviously you know who Don Lemon is. Taylor Lorenz is this Washington Post crazy woman who's an activist, insane Trump hater, all this stuff. Anyways, listen to her, and even Don Lemon has to correct her on his, I guess he's got some show on social media now. If I can play it here. There we go. Hold on 1 second, and where's Don Lemon? Here we go.
Well then, Taylor, how do you reconcile the way marginalized groups, many of the people in these marginalized groups, obviously they are fighting for Palestine, right, for the Palestinians and for what's happening in Gaza. But yet in Gaza, they would not have any freedom. They don't
have freedoms in Texas and Florida. Does that mean? But they don't. But I understand that. But Taylor, I'm a member of the LGBTQ community. If I go to Texas, they're not going to throw me off of a roof. They're not going.
Well, you don't know that, sir. I don't know, sir. Maybe she's right. This is the kind of, you see this? She's a Washington Post reporter. Yes. Well, Texas is killing gays. What? Eddie, have you seen the gay pride parade in Dallas? It's massive. We have like the biggest gay church in America, I understand. I don't support it, but we have like the largest one there is, apparently. And this woman's saying that they're just as bad in Texas as they are in Gaza. Eddie, you have called in on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hi, Eddie.
Hey, how are you?
Good, my friend. How are you?
You know what? I'm happy to be alive, but I am completely blown away by the absolute zombieism that's going on in the world. We're talking about true zombies who are completely taken over in their brains. They have no idea what they're protesting for. Free Palestine from who?
From Hamas. They should say free Palestine, and they're saying free Palestine. From Hamas.
Exactly.
No, they want to free them from Israel, the democracy that doesn't kill gays.
Exactly. So they literally, like the last caller said, have no idea what they're protesting. They have no idea what the land is about. They have zero history on the millennia of absolute turmoil between the Druze in this land and the Arabs, and they're all the same people. All it is an ideology. It's a belief.
Well, at least we live in a country where you can believe whatever you want to believe. And unless you're sacrificing children or doing something like a cult would do, that is, if you're abusing or killing or hurting people or something or breaking a law, if you're not doing that, you can worship here freely. To worship anybody or anything you want. You can worship a metal post if you want to.
I am for people on their journey. You want to have 7 virgins? Go for it. Go kill yourself. Go have your 7 virgins. I want somebody with a little experience. I like somebody who knows what they're doing on this planet in this life. They got all their eggs in the afterlife basket for what?
Well, they can do whatever they want, but what they're doing is, it's what happens when you have a Islamic country. There's no Islamic country in the world that's free and democratic or whatever,
None.
Appreciate your call, Eddie. I love your passion. Keep calling in.
I'm running for president. Look out for Eddie Rubin.
Eddie Rubin from Dallas. You've got my vote, sir.
I got it.
All right,
baby.
there you go.
Bye.
That first commercial's free. The next one's going to cost you, sir. Good day. And a good day to you. Okay, 800-288-WBAP. That was a lot of fun. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Up next, Trump. The judge today is now getting real detailed into how close he is to throwing him in jail. And that's pretty crazy. We have to actually, consider that might happen. In fact, wait to hear what Trump said today. Because what he said today actually kind of says that he's okay. If you listen to it yourself, you'll hear him. He says that he's actually seems like okay to go with going to jail. That's coming up next in the Chris Crock Show. You'll hear it yourself. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. That's coming up on the Chris Crock Show next on News Talk 800, News Talk 820, WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Okay, now this is 820 AM WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Donald J. Trump at court today, and this judge is threatening him with jail, like much more now directly. And here's what Trump said about that. Actually, here's the statement the judge gave to Trump today. Judge Juan Marchand. His daughter works for works to get Democrats elected. That's her job. She works with all the top Democrats, Biden, all the Democrats to help them get elected. As she's I don't know if she puts together ads or voting stuff, whatever. But she's literally paid, bought and sold by the Democrat Party, and works in that whole thing. So the whole machine. And her dad has donated to Biden 3 times. And is a big, massive Biden supporter and Democrat. This whole thing is rigged. It really is. Anyway, today he said he violated the gag order again, like a 9th and 10th time or something like that. And so the judge said, going forward, this court will have to consider a jail sanction. This is so unreal. Going forward now, we're going to have to consider a jail sanction now, okay? Because you're acting like you're a former president who's running for president, and you can't do that. You're not talking to anybody. Anyways, he says, going forward, this court will have to consider a jail sanction as he looked directly at Trump. The Wall Street Journal says the last thing he wanted to do, he said, was jail a former and possibly next president, but the violations were a direct attack on the rule of law, he said. What a joke. He says, because this is now the 10th time that this court has found the defendant in criminal contempt, spanning 3 separate motions, it is apparent that the monetary fines have not and will not suffice to deter the defendant from violating this court's lawful orders. And he could jail Trump for up to 30 days. So we have that. And here's how Trump reacted to that.
This judge has given me a gag order and said you'll go to jail if you violate it. And frankly, you know what? Our Constitution is much more important than jail. It's not even close. I'll I'll do that sacrifice any day. This is a real threat to our country, and it's a serious threat to the Constitution. And the most important day in the history of our country is going to be November 5th of this year. That's called Election Day. God bless the USA.
All right, here's my question for you. Do you think Trump will actually end up in jail? Do you think he will actually end up in jail? Not for the end of this trial, meaning it's the verdict of the trial. No. I'm saying, do you think he'll end up in jail like tomorrow or next week or, for another violation? Do you think he will end up in jail? And do you think that it would actually help his candidacy, or do you think it would hurt it if he's sent to jail for up to 30 days for violating the judge's unconstitutional, where he says you can't say anything, but everybody else can. They can attack you, witnesses, but you can't say anything about them. Do you think he'll end up in jail? And do you think that will end up helping his candidacy or hurt it? And what would you tell Trump if you were his advisor right now? What would you tell Trump that he should do in this case if you were his advisor? Would you say, dude, don't keep pushing it. We don't want you in jail. Because it's not just the fact that whether or not it's good that he goes in jail, but I'm saying there's reasons for the case it might be bad to have your client go in jail. I don't know. And sometimes the reasons for it is whether the jury wants to admit it or not, they're getting information from the media and such, and it's going to play out a certain way. So do you think this will Trump will end up in jail for violating one of these orders shortly? And do you think that will help his candidacy or hurt it? And what would you tell Trump right now if you were his advisor that he should do about these gag orders, and just shut up and obey it, or just plow forward ahead and go? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Man, this judge had better not put him in jail. I'm telling you, this is unbelievable. I don't know if he goes but you heard him. He says, I'm willing to go to jail. Did you hear that? This country is more important than me going to jail or not. Basically, he directly said, I'll go to jail if I have to. It's in the best interest of this country to show how corrupt this all is. This is interesting. So what do you say? What would you tell the president if he was advisor? Do you think he will end up in jail for violating these gag orders? And what would help him or hurt him more? To go to jail for gag order violations or to not go to jail? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Chime in right now. Also, coming up next regarding this case, it's even worse than we've been told, and I've told you. The guy who's the lead prosecutor in this case, wait till you hear what he was paid to do by the Democrat National Committee. And yet he's the lawyer with the DA's office prosecuting this case. Wait till you hear about this. That's next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset.